Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 MidBeach Neighborhood Association Candidate Forum. I'm Ana Marie Ferreira de Mello, President of MBNA and tonight's facilitator. Along with the Executive Board, we welcome you to this forum. Tonight's conversation is going to center on the East MidBeach community spanning from 24th to 63rd Street along Collins Avenue and Indian Creek Drive. And it includes our hotels, condominiums, and businesses. MBNA was established in 2017 to advocate for the unique needs of our neighborhood and to ensure that the East MidBeach community was considered in the decision-making process that shapes our city today. While this evening's forum features Group 1 Commission and mayoral candidates, we encourage everyone to learn more about our candidates running in this year's election, including those in Groups 2 and 3, by visiting our election page at www.midbeach.net/elections 2025. We're so glad you could join us for our first candidate forum of the season. Friday, September 5th marks the end of the qualifying period, and this means that candidates with us today may choose to transfer to another group before then, and additional candidates may still enter the race. Please stay informed, and most importantly, remember to vote on or before the November 4th elections. Before we begin, a friendly reminder that the guidelines for proper conduct at any MBNA meeting are simple. Please remain respectful at all times toward candidates, moderators, and fellow participants. That includes referencing only your own position and not referring to others in the forum. MBNA reserves the right to mute or remove any participant, including candidates, who do not follow these standards of respect and decorum. Time limits will be enforced, and thank you in advance for helping us ensure a fair and productive forum. Now, please join me in welcoming the 2025 City of Miami Beach Group 1 Commission candidates. Each candidate will introduce themselves and share why they believe they are the ideal candidate to represent East Miami Beach. And they will have 2 minutes or less to do so. So the order of introductions are going to be in alphabetical order. We're going to begin with the candidate Daniel Serraldo and continue in alphabetical order to Brian Ehrlich, all the way through to Omar Jimenez. We'll go ahead and call each candidate, and we'll start with introductions. Candidate Daniel Serraldo.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Daniel Serraldo. Can you guys hear me okay?
Your audio is loud and clear. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. So my name is Daniel Serraldo, and I am a candidate for Miami Beach Commission Group 1. You can visit my website, danielformiamibeach.org, to see a full list of my positions as well as individual blog posts, mostly centered around overdevelopment, which is a focus of my campaign. I grew up here in Miami Beach, actually in MidBeach, but on the west side on the Sunset Islands. And I have very fond memories going to the Fountain Blue and the Bath Club, going to cotillion class there as a little kid and learning the foxtrot. MidBeach has so many amazing neighborhoods, from historic districts to residential Condo Canyon. And I know it doesn't get the attention that it normally does. And so I'd like to see more of our tourism funds supporting keeping things clean up there along the public rights of way. I want to do more to help condominium owners who, through my work at Miami Design Preservation League, a lot of condo owners in these older buildings need assistance with repairs. And I want to really support that over the real estate takeovers that are happening, the bulk condo attempts in your neighborhood, such as Seacoast Towers. I've worked with a lot of the different owners of individual units, and it's pretty disgusting what developers are doing now. And we need somebody who's willing to shine a light on it, but also help provide real solutions. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Our next candidate to provide an introduction is Brian Ehrlich.
Hello, I'm Brian Ehrlich. I am thrilled to be here at MBNA. It's one of my favorite meetings. It always reminds me of the hard-hitting nature of 60 Minutes and also the humor of Stephen Colbert, thanks to our illustrious hosts. I have lived in Miami Beach for 20 years. Miami Beach embraced me as a young gay man. It's allowed me to build a life filled with purpose. But I think over the years, I've also witnessed that we often make short-term decisions here in Miami Beach that don't serve us in the long run. And it's one of the reasons that I'm running, because I want to help build a vision not just for today in 2025, but for 2040, so that we can wake up in 2040 and we can say the right turn lane off of Indian Creek is finally working. And 41st Street is bustling with business and with people. Deliveries are streamlined along Collins Avenue, and that the Miami Beach Promenade has been built and that it connects us with incredible shade trees and with landscaping. Now, I am not from the political world, but I have been volunteering for Miami Beach on various city boards for 20 years. Been on the board of Historic Preservation, on the board of the Bass Museum of Art, Cultural Arts Council, Capital Improvements, and the Board of Adjustment. And in my professional life, I have helped launch a tech startup. I've led large real estate projects, and I've also guided cultural arts organizations here on the beach.
Thank you, Brian.
I bring life experience to this role, and I'm also a fighter. And I'm fighting for a well-designed city, infrastructure, and accountability at City Hall, and every project that strengthens us.
Thank you so much, Brian. Our next candidate, Ava Frankel.
Hi, I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Ava Frankel. I was born at Mount Sinai, raised in Miami Beach, bat mitzvahed at Temple Beth Shalom, and I am running for commissioner simply because I believe locals, businesses, and residents deserve a commissioner who puts our community first. Technically, I'm an engineer. I studied that in college, and I've always been wired to solve problems. If you've lived in Miami Beach long enough, you know we've been drowning in problems, and that pun is absolutely intended. Just today, after a very brief and insignificant storm, our streets are completely flooded. We are also flooded more figuratively with bad business deals, overdevelopment, and a lack of focus on residents. For years, I've seen the problems stack up, and I've thought, oh, someone's fixing it. And time again, the issues remain unsolved. I'm not here to climb the political ranks. I have a very low tolerance for BS. I'm not here to be bought or bribed. I'm here to roll up my sleeves, listen, bring vision, and actually get things done for our condominiums, our hotels, our residents, and our local businesses. MidBeach has been my home for a very long time and currently still is, and I would love nothing more than to have it be a place that locals are proud of and future generations thank us for.
Thank you so much, Ava. Our next candidate is Matthew Galtinoff. Okay, we'll come back to Matthew in a moment. We're going to move on to our next candidate for.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Matthew.
We'll try this again. Good evening, everyone. I'm Matthew Galtanoff, and I'm running for Miami Beach City Commissioner because our city deserves real solutions, not more promises. As a former software developer, I bring data-driven problem-solving skills. More importantly, I bring proven civic leadership. I previously served as the chair of the city's Transportation Advisory Committee. I've served on the planning board, and I currently serve as vice chair of Miami-Dade County's Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. I'm running with a clear mission to deliver viable solutions to the transportation and housing challenges that affect every resident, business, and visitor in Miami Beach, while ensuring a fair, transparent City Hall that truly represents all of us. I also believe we need stronger community engagement. Too often, people feel neighborhood groups don't represent them. As commissioner, I'll propose standards and best practices so these groups truly serve everyone, not just a select few. When I moved here nearly 15 years ago, Miami Beach was a vibrant city, unafraid to lead and try new things. But in recent years, it has become the city of no, 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 losing residents and opportunities to areas like Wynwood, Brickell, Coconut Grove, and elsewhere. For Miami Beach's long-term prosperity, things must change. Miami Beach needs a commissioner who understands both urban planning and genuine community representation. That's exactly what I bring to the table. Together, we can make Miami Beach a place that not only keeps its unique historic character, but also embraces growth, innovation, and opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Our next candidate for Group 1 Commission is Monica Mateo Salinas.
Hi, everybody. My name is Monica Mateo Salinas, and I'm running to make Miami Beach better than it's ever been. I've lived in Miami Beach for 16 years. I'm raising my 2 boys here. They attend Miami Beach Senior High School, go High Tides. I've been involved with the PTA since they were in elementary school at South Point Elementary. I was the Nautilus Middle School PTSA president, and I was the advocacy chair with the Beach High PTSA last year. Even though I've lived in Miami Beach for 16 years, I grew up in Michigan, and I am a proud graduate of Michigan State University's James Madison College with a degree in social relations and public policy. My career background is in nonprofit management. I worked at Miami-Dade College at the Institute for Civic Engagement and Democracy. And fun fact, my first job in Miami was working at Catalyst Miami, which was founded by Daniela Levine Cava, who's our current county mayor. I served on the board of Miami Beach United, and I've served on not 1, but 2 Miami Beach committees. First, the Committee for Quality Education. And after that, I was appointed to the Commission for Women by the late Commissioner Mark Samuelin. May he rest in peace. I've been an active member of my neighborhood association, of course, and I'm also a proud graduate of the Police Department Citizens Police Academy. I even went to bond court and testified against one of our repeat offenders. You name it, I've done it. Most recently, I worked for 2 different Miami Beach commissioners as their legislative aide. I've been to my MidBeach Neighborhood Association meetings before, so I know your issues. Frustration with the FDOT dual turn lanes onto 41st Street, frustrations with the 63rd Street Bridge and the Coast Guard and that coming up and down, the charter boats, homeless, beach safety. I know it all because I've worked it, I've lived it, and I've loved it. I'm experienced, knowledgeable, competent, capable, and ready to hit the ground running and work for you. I'm Monica Mateo Salinas, and I want to make Miami Beach better than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Our next candidate is Monique Pardo-Pope.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monique Pardo-Pope, and I am proud to be running to represent each of you here in my MidBeach. A bit historical background on myself. In 1963, my mother arrived from Cuba in Miami through Operation Pedro Pan with the hope of a better life. She taught me that no matter how hard life gets, you never let circumstances define who you are. Professionally, I built my career in the financial sector, and as a family law attorney and guardian ad litem, I've helped people navigate through some of the toughest moments of their life. That experience has taught me how to listen, how to solve problems, and how to stand up for the people when they need it the most. And now I am running because Miami Beach needs an advocate, someone who will listen to working families, seniors, and neighbors who feel unheard. As a fellow MidBeach resident, MidBeach business owner, MidBeach parent, and MidBeach property owner, I will fight for safer streets and safer waterways, for a city where opportunity belongs to everyone, not just a select few. I will ensure our leaders and municipal government put residents first. MidBeach is facing real challenges, from rising costs to overdevelopment to aging infrastructure. I know what it means to start with little and build something better. And I believe every family in Miami Beach deserves that same chance, a city that works as hard for them as they do for their families. Now, I love Miami Beach. My parents owned a studio apartment in North Beach for the greater part of my young adult life. I've resided here for close to a decade. I have my law practice here, my guardian ad litem practice here. I serve not only on my neighborhood association board here, but also as co-president of my children's PTA here. And I have a deep vested interest here and, for God willing, the foreseeable future. I believe our future depends on balancing growth with preservation, protecting our environment, and making sure locals can continue to live and thrive here. And as your commissioner, I will act to enforce community-friendly policies and make sure our infrastructure and parks keep pace with development. MidBeach deserves leadership that listens, plans responsibly, and balances economic viability with livability. And that is why I'm asking for your trust and for your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Monique. And our next candidate is Omar Jimenez.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. My name is Omar Jimenez, and I'm honored to be here tonight as your candidate for Miami Beach City Commission in Group 1. When my family first moved to Miami Beach, we lived in the executive condominium for a number of years, and most recently, I was the full-time parish administrator at All Souls Episcopal Church on 4125 Pine Tree Drive. For 2 decades, my family and I have been small business owners in Miami Beach. Many of you know my restaurant, Bella Cuba, or Bella Cuba, as they say in Spanish, which was named Hispanic Heritage Business of the Year in 2022. Running a local business has taught me firsthand what it takes to create jobs, keep a team together, and contribute to the unique character of our city. Beyond business, for the past 5 years, I've dedicated myself to community service and environmental advocacy. I have served on city boards such as the North Beach CRA Advisory Committee and collaborated with many local organizations over the years. As the founding president of the Parkview Island Sustainable Association, I've worked tirelessly to improve our infrastructure, restore our waterways, and bring millions of dollars in upgrades to our community. From replacing sidewalks and footbridges to launching Operation Clean Water earlier this year, to advocating for the infrastructural and public safety upgrades, my record shows consistent results for our neighborhoods. I believe that I am the ideal candidate to represent East MidBeach, our condominiums, hotels, and local businesses, because I understand the balance that we must strike, protecting property values, to ensuring safe and resilient infrastructure, to supporting small businesses, and preserving the quality of life that makes Miami Beach a world-class city. I'm not backed by special interests or developers, and I'm here to be a voice for the residents, for the business owners, and for the future generations. Together, we can ensure that East MidBeach thrives, safe, sustainably, and as a vibrant community.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you all for your introductions. Brian, I've been made aware that your introduction was cut just shy of a few seconds. I apologize for that. We'll certainly give you an opportunity to introduce yourself later on or add to your closing statement time. At this moment, our first question will be provided by Sophie Ringel, founder and Executive Director of Clean Miami Beach, a nonprofit organization working to protect our coastal environment and educate the public about waste reduction, sustainability, and ocean health. Under Sophie's leadership, Clean Miami Beach has organized hundreds of cleanup events, removed thousands of pounds of waste from our coastlines, and championed key environmental legislation, including the effort to prohibit the intentional release of balloons. Sophie will be asking the first question tonight regarding legislation that was proposed at today's commission meeting. All candidates have received a copy of this legislation before today's forum. The first respondent will be Omar Jimenez, followed by Monica Salinas, Monique Pardo, Pope, Matthew Galtanoff, Ava Franco, Brian Ehrlich, and closing with Daniel Serraldo. You will each have 45 seconds to respond. If you would like to follow up with her after the event, she can be reached at her first last name at cleanmiamibeach.org. Sophie?
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me here and having me. It's such an honor, and it's wonderful to meet you all together. I know a few of you already personally, not everybody, but yeah, this is a great opportunity. So thank you again. As mentioned, the environment is it's near and dear to my heart, and we all should protect our planet a little bit more. So my question for you today is, we have been not just picking up trash, we also do advocacy. And we have assisted in a legislation that prohibits the initial release of the balloons that we already spoke about. But at today's commission meeting, we spoke about the plastic flower petals and confetti that we are seeing in huge amounts on Miami Beach. What would you do to support environmental protections in MidBeach? And thankfully, it passed its first hearing, which we're very excited about. We hope it will pass its second hearing as well. But yeah, my question to you, what would you do to protect the environment, to support environmental protections in MidBeach? Thank you.
And Sophie, if I may ask, if you could add the full question in the chat. I know everyone has received it in advance, but just to allow those participants to join us, I do see there's a question of time, if they're allowed to have 1.5 minutes. So we did have several candidates confirm later. And so just due to time, that's why we had reduced it to 45. Let's meet somewhere in the middle and let's do an hour and 15, and then a minute and 15 seconds. And then looking at where we are in about an hour and 10 minutes. I think that maybe if we give a minute and 15, and then maybe we'll shorten up the second and third question. So beginning, Omar Jimenez, if you could please answer Sophie's question in a minute and 15.
Hi, Sophie. So as you know, 5 years ago, I interned with Clean Miami Beach prior to starting my journey through the Parkview Island Sustainable Association. I founded the city's first sustainable neighborhood association with a particular focus on improving the quality of life of residents through an environmental and resilience and sustainable focus. I strongly support Clean Miami Beach and their agenda to prohibit balloon releases, glitter, cigarette smoking on our beaches, and address event-related litter. Balloons and single-use plastics don't just vanish. They end up in our canals, our bay, our bodies, and eventually in the ocean, where they harm wildlife and degrade water quality. As someone who was key to launching Operation Clean Water with the city earlier this year, I have pushed the city to do studies with organizations such as the University of Miami and Surfrider Foundation to track pollution hotspots. I also pushed for years for the full funding of the Parkview Island Canal Water Quality Restoration Project, a project which is now fully funded to the value of $8 million. I've seen firsthand the damage that preventable litter can cause. As a commissioner, I will support similar legislations and strengthen enforcement against event-related pollution while also working with our hotels, event venues, and homeowners association to promote sustainable practices, from compostable servingware to better recycling stations. Environmental protection is not just about ecology. It directly impacts our health, our property values, and our tourism economy. Protecting our waterways is protecting our way of life here in Miami Beach.
Thank you, Omar, for that. Thank you, Omar, for that response. Monica, candidate Salinas.
Hi, I'm here. It's Monica. Hi, Sophie. Congratulations on the passage of our 5Q, the glitter ordinance. Congratulations on that. And also the balloon ordinance that passed in July, our 5D. Sophie, I absolutely support any type of environmental ordinances that would keep our beaches clean and beautiful, and also our streets and all of Miami Beach. Number one, let me touch on a couple things. I want to look at better independent water quality testing, because I've heard a lot of concerns about our drinking water, and I think we should go independent on that. Number two, I think we need to have much more enforcement, especially the smoking on the beaches. And I know that that was banned a couple of years ago. Commissioner Fernandez passed that in 21, I think, and I think it needs more enforcement. And also I want to couple the enforcement with better marketing. We've been marketing ourselves as a wellness city where we're all wellness and we're fitness and all of this. And I think we need to couple that with, we are also good stewards of the earth. And we need to combine those to say our wellness also depends on Miami Beach's wellness and the earth's wellness. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. Candidate Monique Pardo-Pope.
Yes. Sophie, congratulations. You must feel incredibly proud today. It's a wonderful feeling, and I applaud you on all your hard work and your efforts. With regard to Clean Miami Beach, I support your mission very much. I believe that we need to take their advocacy very seriously. Balloons and event debris, we know that they don't just disappear. They end up in our waterways, they end up harming our marine life, and they end up polluting our beaches. Now, we also have to be smart. Enforcement has to be realistic. And the city has to partner with groups like yours to focus on education, on outreach, on cleanup events that involve both the residents and the businesses. Clean Miami Beach, under your leadership, is a strong example of grassroots working that deserve our support here in our municipality. Now, if we combine enforcement with incentives, we can make a real impact without unfairly burdening any small businesses or residences. So as you know, Florida already criminalizes causing pollution. That's section 403.61. And it broadly fights litter in the state of Florida, which is 403.413. Now, this ordinance that passed, it's targeted, it's a preventative tool on city property to avoid dispersion before cleanup is impossible. The rule is content neutral. So anybody that squabbles about it being a hindrance or an overreach, they're wrong. It applies only in outdoor public venues where dispersion risk is highest. And it expressly allows non-plastic alternatives, paper, natural fibers. It preserves ample channels for children's parties, expressions, celebrations. All of the issues that people would be opposed to something like this are going to.
Thank you so much, Monica. Next candidate is Matthew Galtinoff.
So I appreciate Clean Miami Beach's concerns, but like my colleague, we also need to have an honest concern about government overreach. While the intent behind the legislation is worthwhile, I worry about enforcement priorities. I've seen park rangers show up to kids' birthday parties to enforce balloon rules. Is that really where we want city resources focused when we have major infrastructure challenges in the city and traffic and housing as well? My approach is practical: support data-driven monitoring, tackle the problems that affect residents and visitors every day, and focus on education and voluntary compliance. And we can look at real-world examples nearby. At the world's largest cruise port, the 2 largest ships in the world now plug in every Saturday, just a stone's throw from Miami Beach. I helped call out the lack of shore power and the pollution that those ships were spewing onto our community. Now a major shore power project has been successfully built and implemented here in Miami, with more than 14 ships turning off their diesel engines while in port. That means cleaner air for all of us. And that's proof that smart, practical investments can deliver real environmental results for Miami Beach.
Thank you, Matthew. Candidate Ava Frankel.
Hi, Sophie. Congrats. I'm so grateful to people like you who are actively trying to make our city a better place. My name is Ava. Miami Beach has a world-class reputation, but the way that people treat it currently is subpar. I fully support the Clean Miami Beach legislation because our city is an ecosystem and deserves respect. But let's be clear, environmental protection is not optional, it's essential. Every plastic bag left on the sand, every balloon floating into the ocean, it all ends up in the same place: our water, our fish, and eventually us. So yes, I support the crackdowns fully, but honestly, that's the bare minimum. We need smarter drainage systems, additional foliage that actually helps protect our city, and better systems in place to keep our beautiful island clean. Text to residents when water isn't safe, neighborhood cleanup initiatives, and just a better mindset around keeping our city pristine. I'm so excited for the day that we are not just bragging about our nightlife or our gorgeous architecture, but we are bragging about the cleanliness of our city.
Thank you, Ava. Candidate Brian Ehrlich.
Yes, I wholeheartedly support this legislation. Thank you, Sophie. You are a real leader when it comes to protecting our environment here, which, in my view, we should be a model for the entire world, the entire country. We have such tremendous assets that we have here. We have to protect them. They're sacred. I think that also the education piece is huge, because in this city, we often don't emphasize accountability, and there has to be accountability when it comes to these things. So we need an entire communications and accountability piece around this and around a host of other things, because this is just the beginning. We need better signage about turtle nesting. We need stronger hotel and condo partnerships to keep our beach clean and to really hold their feet to the fire. I think that's incredibly important. They're our biggest partners. And we also need aggressive action when it comes to irresponsible boaters who are polluting our waterways. Our beach and our waterways are our assets that we must protect. Beach erosion is something that we also have to address, and it's not going to work just by trucking in every few years a bunch of extra sand. We need dune restoration. We need smarter shoreline protection. We need the hotels to be our partners with this investment. It is in their best interest, and they will do it if we as.
Thank you so much, Brian. Candidate Daniel Seraldo.
Yes, thank you again, Sophie. I know we ran into each other in Tallahassee. I was there fighting to protect Miami Beach's zoning code, and you were there fighting another preemption. I think at the time was the plastic bag preemption. So as an environmentalist myself, I'm 100% in support of good environmentalism. I do, though, want to touch on the fact that we are a fragile barrier island. And I really think that we need more education and we need more collaboration with the environmental groups, with the preservation groups. You know, I mean, we got the Coral Reef Hotel that's in MidBeach that now is going to be bulldozed. And, you know, I've been trying to get the Coral Reef activists to try to protect this landmark and no bites. So I think that I want to think big, like Matthew mentioned, but also I want to talk about cleanliness. That's one of the biggest things I hear when I knock on doors. This place is dirty. In the morning, it is so gross and dirty. I want this place to be like Disney World, super clean. Let's spend that tourism dollars that's sitting in a bank account, and let's make our city beautiful, clean, and safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Sophie, so before you go, I know you had a really busy day, and we thank you so much for taking time out to join us today. But you heard the candidates mention some potential solutions and also some cautions of how realistic will it be? How can they enforce it? What is the data behind it? I think the data-driven solution that you're proposing is an ordinance based on what you yourself have collected on site in the data that you have seen by the amounts of types of materials that are left over after events. But I'd like to hear more from you. What do you envision that collaboration or effective collaboration? How would this ordinance effectively be implemented? And what is the charge, or what are you looking at the next set of leadership to be able to accomplish to advance the goals and what Clean Miami Beach is advocating for?
Well, in my dream world, I wouldn't have been at City Hall today advocating for a ban of plastic petals and glitter. In a dream world, we all would know that it's bad for the environment and we don't use it in the first place. So we definitely need to increase education, which we're also doing. We're working very hard. So it makes me very happy to hear to increase education with environmental groups in our local schools, where we have started multiple programs that tackle exactly that cover that area. And we do need to work with businesses for better solutions. I absolutely love small businesses. I only shop at small businesses. And I understand that some items are cheaper than others and it might be a bit more harmful. However, if we continue with this excuse, our planet will be not beautiful anymore. And we also really need to understand that the impact on our human health is so ginormous. I do understand also, of course, we have bigger issues we need to tackle, but we also need to do the smaller things because we all want to see the big picture of a beautiful, clean, and healthy city and ourselves as healthy people. So I absolutely welcome education increase, better signage, better partnerships with hotels and local businesses. I heard turtle nesting seasons, one of you mentioned. Flip the Switch is a great campaign, but there needs to happen more to protect our sea turtles. And what I also want to mention is we don't just talk about the litter that people throw, it's also the plastic that is already in the ocean. Every wave that comes in, and I encourage you to take a deeper look next time you stand on the shoreline, brings more plastic ashore. So this is a very, very deep issue. We need to understand to create less waste in the first place. That's what we use our cleanups for. The advocacy is really on top to also educate businesses and inspire them to use natural decorations instead. So thank you, everybody. I am looking forward to working with you in the future. And thank you for having me today in this meeting. It's a very important issue. We should talk more about our planet. It's the only one we have. And we've already used all the resources for 2025. So we're living in a little dream world here. So we really got to protect our planet a bit more. Thank you.
Thank you again for everything you do. I think you can see how many of us admire and support you and your work, and MBNA is looking forward to sponsoring an upcoming event. So for question 2, we're going to move to hotels, which Sophie mentioned was so important as well. But for the candidates, the hotels in Miami Beach, tell us, they're a vital part of our mid-beach economy and our community. What do you see as the most pressing challenges facing hotels in this area? And how would you support their continued success while promoting good relationships with nearby residents? The order of this question will be first Omar Jimenez, followed by Monica Salinas, Monique Pardo, Pope, Matthew Galtinoff, Ava Franco, Brian Ehrlich, and closing with Daniel Serraldo.
Hi, so Omar Jimenez again.
I apologize. We're
sorry.
going to switch that order. And the first one today, we're going to begin with Matthew Galtinoff, followed by Monique Pardo Pope, Ava Franco Salinas, Monica Salinas, Daniel Serraldo, Brian Ehrlich, and concluding with Omar Jimenez. Thank you, Omar, for being willing to go first and for being willing to be our closing. Matthew, would you please kick us off with this question?
Okay. So MidBeach hotels face three intertwined challenges: traffic congestion, subpar public transit, and employee recruitment and retention problems. When workers can't reliably get to their jobs, hotel struggles to hire and keep staff, and that directly impacts service, competitiveness, and the guest experience. I'm probably the only candidate who has actually worked at the city, the county, and the state officials to deliver real solutions. Others talk about traffic light synchronization. I've done it. I brought forward real-world observations, I pushed through improvements, and I've gotten results that are already helping traffic flow today. My Unlock the Grid plan builds on that. We'll maximize existing infrastructure with data-driven traffic management, smart parking, and wayfinding to reduce circling, and centralized valet systems to keep lanes clear. But more efficient roads aren't enough. Transit must become a first option, not a last resort for everyone: hotel workers, visitors, and residents. That means clean, reliable trolleys and buses that go where people need them to go and when they need them. When employees can depend on transit and traffic flow, hotels can recruit from a broader area, retain quality staff, and strengthen the MidBeach economy. These solutions work together for better traffic, prosperous hotels, and a thriving community.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Candidate Monique Pardo Pope.
I apologize. I am unmuted now. Matthew, I actually agree with you. Beyond traffic congestion, though, that I do believe is overlooked when it comes to the hotel landscape here in MidBeach, short-term rentals definitely have an impact on both rent prices and the hotel industry. When landlords are turning long-term housing into short-term rentals, you're reducing the number of homes available for locals, which drives up the rent, especially in high-demand areas such as MidBeach. It basically shifts housing stock from residents to tourists. At the same time, we know hotels are facing tough competition. Short-term rentals often do not have to follow the same rules or pay the same taxes, which give them an advantage. That can hurt local hotels, especially smaller or budget-friendly ones, who can't match the prices or the flexibility. It's a tricky balance between tourism benefits and protecting local communities. And the bottom line is they are directly affecting and impacting the affordability of our residents here in Miami Beach.
Thank you, Monique. Candidate Ava Franco.
Thank you. It's no secret that Miami Beach thrives on tourism, but I think that the secret to hotels thriving is locals benefiting too. So residents deserve perks, whether it's half off on beach chairs, discounts at the restaurants, because we are the ones who live here year round. We've done a great job at keeping away the riffraff, but the next step is leveling up. And I believe that that comes from supporting small businesses that add flavor and authenticity to Miami Beach. That means getting rid of the blocks filled with vacancies and instead filling them with resident-owned shops, concessions, and restaurants. We need to add trees and arts to our walking paths, making the experience a pleasure rather than an activity that is followed by a generous application of aloe vera because our sun is blasting them. Hotel and tourism success is directly related to thriving small businesses, and we need both for everyone to win. And when everyone wins, Miami Beach wins. Visitors should write home about how amazing their experience was on Miami Beach. Locals should benefit from our tourism, and our little island should keep the money circulating within rather than watching it flow to places like Brickell, Wynwood, or Design District. So I'm Ava, and let's work together to make Miami Beach the best city ever.
Thank you, Ava. Candidate Monica Salinas.
Hi, everyone. Monica Mateo Salinas here. So I think the biggest issue facing the hotels is the tourism. Our tourism numbers are down, and I want to make sure we are attracting tourists and, having good events like Art Basel Boat Show. I know they're coming back bigger than ever next year. And we need to encourage tourism to fill our hotels, to drive our economic engine, but not at the expense of residents. We can't let the hotels take over the beaches. We have to make sure there's enough space for our residents. And especially over there on that side, the beaches are narrow. So we have to make sure that the hotels and the businesses don't encroach too much and push the residents out. Additionally, traffic I know is tough over there. And so staying on top of FDOT and staying on top of the Coast Guard with the bridge going up and down, the 63rd Street Bridge, and then the FDOT dual turn lane project, which is supposed to happen at the end of the month, from what I understand, making sure all these projects get done in a timely manner and they're not pushed off for months and months and months. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. Candidate Daniel Serraldo.
Yes, well, hotels are kind of something I've been very involved with in my work at Miami Design Preservation League, where we promote, protect, and preserve the historic hotels and buildings in Miami Beach. I'm no longer working there as I resigned in March to focus on the run for commission. But I will tell you, in the 12 years that I was there, a lot of the hotels feel that the city is not supporting them, that the residents are against them, and that they don't really see much of a sense of community. And so I would like to start an initiative where residents and hotels can work together on programs and do things that bring pride to the city. As an example, we could do historical walking tours with residents and the hotel staff. At the same time, we have to look at a big issue, which is neglected properties. I'm talking about even the Versailles Hotel, which is frankly now like a carcass. It's been sitting there for 10 plus years. You got next door 13th floor investments who left the coral reef and the patrician in decay. And next thing you know, the commissioners want to give them zoning bonuses. So I think we have to be very careful electing the right person who's not going to support more high rises on our beach, who's going to keep it not Sunny Isles, but Sunshine City, Miami Beach. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Candidate Omar Jimenez. I apologize. Candidate Brian Ehrlich, and we will close with Omar.
Brian Ehrlich. Hotels are the lifeblood of Miami Beach. They employ our workers. They are our partners, and I think that we have to be a better partner with them. I think it's the city's opportunity to make sure that our relationship with them is incredibly symbiotic. We know that there's a huge traffic issue. We know that operationally a hotel can also can also help the city in terms of coordinating deliveries, fixing valet queues and schedules. We can even rethink what a valet stand is to perhaps connect residents or guests with bicycles, connect them with shuttles so that we can actually decrease traffic and mitigate traffic. So I think there are real opportunities for us to work hand in hand with the hotels. You've got in your neighborhood, you've got the Faina, the Aman, the Casa Cipriani. They should all be at the same table. We should plan transportation with them together so that we can help solve the affordability crisis that we have with their workers. Most of them, sheer majority, live over on the mainland, and so they are contributing to that congestion. But if we can work on micro mobility with these large operators, and the city is actually its partner, we're going to have some real success there. I think we can even have standardized valet uniforms so that we can give a consistent branding to the district as well and share resources. Efficiency.
Thank you.
We also can have investment from our hotels. One second. And third, community life. We need the hotels to be cultural areas, music, arts, all of that kind of stuff for the community.
Thank you, Brian. And the So thank you all for answering that question. So 1/3 of our membership at MBNA.
Sorry, you missed me.
And
You missed me.
yes, did somebody yell out?
Omar,
Yeah.
you missed me.
No, I didn't miss you. I'm just making a comment before you speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just want to quickly comment that 1/3 of all of our membership are hotels. And so collaborating with them is so important. And so as you're thinking about some of these responses that you're giving, and we think collaboratively how we can work with these hotels, and we're going to move on to condos in a little bit. If we have time at the end, we'll come back and have follow-up questions for each of you. Now, concluding this third question is candidate Omar Jimenez.
Thank you so much. Omar Jimenez here. So hotels, tourism, and hospitality are the backbone of the Miami Beach and Mid-Beach economy. I'm the only tourism and hospitality veteran in Group 1 with over 20 years experience in this industry in our city. Hotels are truly the backbone of Miami Beach. They sustain thousands of jobs, generate a major share of our tax revenue, and keep our city's global reputation alive. At the same time, they share space with the residents who deserve peace, safety, and quality of life. The real challenge and opportunity is how we balance both. As a commissioner, I will push for strong partnerships between hotels and neighborhoods. That means greater regular communication channels so residents and hotel managers can resolve issues like noise, traffic, valet congestion, and micromobility before they escalate. I believe hotels can lead on sustainability by adopting greener practices, cutting single-use plastics, managing food waste, and improving energy efficiency. Hotels can lower costs while showing residents they're true partners in building a resilient Miami Beach. Ultimately, hotels and residents don't have competing interests. They have shared interests. If hotels thrive, our economy thrives. If residents thrive, hotels attract repeat guests. My role will be to make sure both sides succeed together.
Thank you so much. And so as we move for the comments that are in the chat, thank you. If we have time, if time permits, we'll go ahead and circle back to some of those comments. Moving on to condominiums, our question 3 is regarding the MidBeach projects. So the MidBeach projects, or MidBeach in general, is undergoing and proposing several transformative infrastructure and quality of life projects. Please speak about one MidBeach project, whether featured on midbeach.net, our website, or identified independently, that you believe deserves urgent care and attention from an elected official. The first person to respond to this question will be Ava Frankel. Ava?
Hi. So from the projects listed on the website, I'm choosing to speak on the dog-friendly park that's proposed to be at Collins Avenue and 36th Street because I want to highlight something that I'm very passionate about. This is South Florida. Our sun is blazing hot, and I see on the plan that we have just a few benches, and every bench on the plan is in direct sunlight. I think that our parks need more seating areas, and I think that the majority of those sitting areas need to be in the shade. My dream is to be able to go enjoy my time at a park in Miami Beach, something that I really can't do right now, to read a book, arts and crafts, whatever it might be, but I have yet to find a space that shields me from the sun in the way that I would like. If we're going to build a park from scratch, sun-protected seating with native greenery should be a top priority. And I also believe that we should add more trees and sun-protected seating to all the parks that are in Miami Beach.
Thank you so much, Ava. Candidate Daniel Ciraldo.
Okay, I would say the repaving, restriping the roadway, and the road work is very important, as well as drainage. There's been some improvements in the southern part of Collins Avenue, like by where the Faena is, but there's still a lot of pockets where it rains and the whole neighborhood is crippled. So we want to make sure we have the right level of service to be commensurate with the room rates and the property value increases over the last several years. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Matthew Galtinoff.
So first, I agree with Ava about more shade. I know the city had a very large, well thought out plan and had extensive funding to add shade trees along the beach walk. Unfortunately, a couple special interests spoke out against this, and that plan has been shelved. So people who use it every day, it's the most widely used shared use path in all of Florida. Middle of the day, they can't really use it because there is a lack of shade. So I certainly would say we need more shade on our streets and on our pathways and in our parks. But in addition to that, the main one I want to talk about is Collins Avenue, especially the upcoming project, hopefully in the next couple of years, from 41st Street to 63rd Street. I think that not only should we help improve traffic, but we should make it a place where people want to be. It's right along Indian Creek. And today it really just feels like it's a way for people to get to Surfside and to get Bell Harbor while speeding through the MidBeach neighborhood. It's not safe, it's not inviting, and it could be a lot better. A couple years ago, I worked with you all at MBNA together with our city, with our state senator and FDOT to successfully add a bike lane to a state project along Collins Avenue, south of 41st Street. And that experience showed me that when we listen, when we collaborate, and when we compromise, we can deliver some real progress in this city. So certainly Collins Avenue would be where I would focus in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. And just reminding candidates, this question is focused on what you feel is the most urgent issue that should be addressed in MidBeach. Candidate Monique Pardo-Pope.
Thank you so much. So as a 41st Street business tenant and MidBeach resident, I see what you see every day. This is our city's front door. It's a major artery, and it does not meet the standard our residents deserve. My plan, my hope, is that we fix 41st Street with accountability and no more excuses. First, maintenance is mission critical. We need to institute scheduled pressure cleaning of the pavers. We need to remove litter, graffiti quickly, restore the palm tree lighting. We need to make sure there are no more dark gaps. We need to repair and maintain the tiles on the bridge. These are basic city obligations that we have to meet. Secondly, we need to raise the corridor's curb appeal. There are vacant storefronts, as you know, up and down 41st Street. They must comply with the code. That means clean glass. That means approved vinyl art coverings. Or they face fines. Enforce the ordinances. Make sure that these fines are enforced. We need to streamline exterior signage approval so quality tenants can open faster and better on day one. Thirdly, we need to activate the street. With the city approval, parklets on Royal Palm, Prairie, and Trace, and relocation of the city bike station, if needed, we will add outdoor seating that helps small businesses thrive. We should pilot a unified valet to reduce congestion and make it easier to dine and shop like they do in the design district. And we should host rolling pop-up nights to turn empty spaces into energy on 41st. Finally, we need to target the right tenants. Include a full service supermarket, God willing, and use temporary fee waivers to fill longstanding vacancies and rehabilitate older properties. Let's focus on 41st, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. Candidate Omar Jimenez.
Hi. There are numerous things I know weigh heavily on MidBeach residents' minds, from the beach erosion to motorized vehicles on the beach walk to traffic congestion, resilience to rising tides and flooding, improving the 41st Street corridor, both for pedestrians and businesses, the 63rd Street Bridge interruptions, and high impact events such as the return of the boat show to Collins Avenue. I truly believe the Miami Beach Promenade project is an important future upgrade for MidBeach that I will fully support and prioritize upon election. I envision a safe and holistically upgraded promenade that will benefit residents, attract visitors, and perhaps even act as a small economic engine for small business owners in MidBeach. This is all part of my already existing platform to support small business, environment and sustainability projects, and promote health and well-being in a more socially connected city.
Thank you so much, Omar. Candidate Brian Ehrlich.
Well, echoing on that point on the Miami Beach Promenade, that was my choice as well. And I'll tell you why. The Miami Beach Promenade is a real opportunity to create a model for us, I believe, of a network of linear parks that are all connected to one another with tremendous amounts of shade that connect us all the way from, imagine if you could go from all the way from North Beach all the way to south of 5th and you were shaded and there was refuge. That is the opportunity that we have with the Miami Beach Promenade. I was just on a call with Anna Marie on Friday and the designers of that team. I am incredibly energized about that project. We have the ability to make that the crown jewel of MidBeach. Imagine a continuous shaded spine from 24th to 29th, stone pavers, the right size trees to frame the views, not to obstruct the views from people that where there's sensitivity there. Sculptural lighting. We need to have vision as city commissioners. That's a big thing that everybody here needs to have, is a sense of vision. We need to be able to gather people and have places where our neighborhood can get together. And secondly, very important, the city needs to actually engage with the residents. Get all the stakeholders, not just put things up on the City of Miami Beach website, which is fine, but they need to also be on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and they need to get every one of your opinions and support about this project so that it has a wide range of support, and so we can build this series of parks.
Thank you so much, Brian. Candidate Mateo Salinas.
Hi, thank you. So the issue that I chose off the website was the Indian Creek continuous pathway, because I've walked it before and it's beautiful, but it needs a lot of work. And I am all about getting my hands dirty, rolling up my sleeves and getting stuff done. I'd like to see the floating pathway that juts out into Indian Creek. I'd also like the Jersey barriers painted, and congratulations on getting finally some green bike lanes. And if there's some gaps there, I'm happy to fight for that too. I know that the south end of the pathway has that black fence that one property owner erected, which prohibits the passage of pedestrians and bicyclists. And so I'd like to, what I would support getting rid, whatever we can. If we have to eminent domain that outlot, I would support that. So I know traffic is super important, but so is walkability, especially in that area, because it's so dangerous in that area with the cars and the bus stops. It's bicycle riders. It's like you need to, be very careful in that area. So that would be my issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. We're going to begin our closing statements for each of the candidates to close the formal part of the forum, and then open up to some of the questions that we were receiving publicly and through the chat that everyone else is also seeing. And so once we can begin to kind of have that, to begin that dialogue between the candidates and the participants of today's forum. So in your closing statements, I would like to hear from each of you on your final thoughts. What is the takeaway? What should we remember about you? How can we describe each of you as a candidate that is ready to serve our city and our neighborhood in its best interest? The order of this is going to begin with Brian, followed by Omar, Ava, Monica, Daniel, Monique, and conclude with Matthew. Brian?
Thank you. Well, every day I walk this city, and it's actually the best part of this campaign. I've knocked on 6,800 doors in the city, and I'm proud to say that I was the only candidate in this race to qualify by petition to get the signatures to get on the ballot. I wanted to do that because I wanted to talk to you to understand what was on your mind, what's going well, what's not going well, what needs to be changed. Because I think that great cities don't happen by accident. They happen when people have the tenacity, when they have the focus, and when they bring people together, all the stakeholders, all the people in the community together to make them thrive. I have fresh ideas. I am an out-of-the-box thinker, and I've got an out-of-the-box resume. I've built companies, I've managed multi-million-dollar projects, and I've helped guide cultural institutions in Miami Beach. I've also knocked on those 6,800 doors so far, and I'm going to knock on 6,800 more. That tells you the kind of commissioner that I will be. I will be tireless, I am passionate, and I am creative. I'm always going to put Miami Beach first, because 2040 is not far off, and the choices that we make today are going to enable us to wake up and be happy at that time. I'm ready to fight for MidBeach and ready to fight for this city that I am incredibly proud of. I'm ready to be your next commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Our closing remarks from Group 1 Commission candidate Omar Jimenez.
Hi, Omar Jimenez. MidBeach issues are mostly issues that are already part of my tourism, hospitality, environmental, sustainability platform. My track record proves that. I'm not making promises of what I plan to do. I'm telling you all what I have already done and what I plan on doing more of as soon as you elect me as your next City of Miami Beach Commissioner. And from what I can see, our visions are very much aligned already. My record is about results, restoring our waterways, securing millions in infrastructure upgrades, standing up for residents and small businesses. I'm running to be your commissioner because I believe MidBeach deserves a strong, independent voice, someone who is not beholden to special interests, but who will work every day for our residents, our hotels, our environment, and our local businesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Omar. Now we'll hear a closing statement from Group 1 Commission candidate Ava Frankel.
Thank you. I'm honestly so grateful to be here and to have heard the creative views of my fellow candidates. You guys are all amazing. Miami Beach has a world-class reputation, but if you live here, you know the reality that we have crumbling infrastructure, flooding streets, empty storefronts, and deals that sell out residents instead of protecting them. For too long, leaders have kicked the can down the road, waiting for someday. I'm not here for someday. I'm here for today. My name is Ava Frankel. I was born here, raised here, and I know this city deserves more than Band-Aids and bad business deals. I'm not running to climb political ranks or pad my resume. I'm running to stand up for residents, beautify our city, improve our infrastructure, and get things done. So here's my ask. If you're tired of excuses and instead want to make it a place that locals are proud of and future generations will thank us for, then stand with me. Register, show up, vote. Together, let's turn Miami Beach into the model city of what a resilient, vibrant, and world-class place looks like. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ava. And now we will hear closing statement from Group 1 Commission candidate Monica Mateo Salinas.
Hi there. I'd like to thank MBNA for having me here today, and I'd also like to say congratulations to MBNA for the passage of our item R5A, which was about the promenade and the motorized vehicles on the promenade. I'm raising my kids here, and I hope to raise my grandkids here. I've attended your meetings, and I'm aware of your issues, such as traffic, beach safety, sargassum cleanup, the list goes on and on. I've already been endorsed by the CWA union, which is made up by our ocean rescue team, because they know me and they trust that I will do the right thing for our residents and our workers. Last year, I was presented the Aid of the Year award by MBNA, and I promise you, as hard as I worked for your neighborhood as an aide, I will work even harder as your commissioner. My name is Monica Mateo Salinas, and I would be honored to have your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Our next closing statement from Group 1 Commission candidate is from Daniel Serraldo.
Well, thank you everyone so much. I think what I want to say is that we're in a zoning crisis. We have people from outside of Miami Beach going to Tallahassee to rewrite our zoning laws. In the last few years, our referendum rights for Save Miami Beach were stripped away by out-of-town folks in Tallahassee, funded by dark money folks that have donated to some of the campaigns in this group. What I would like to suggest is if you are concerned about overdevelopment, I am your candidate. I have a track record over the last 12 years of fighting incompatible overdevelopment, of standing up to developers, of arguing against certain deals that were bad, and supporting certain projects that were good. But make no mistake, the next 4 years, a lot of new zoning changes are going to be proposed. And who do you want on that dais? Do you want the nice folks who gave all the variances on the Board of Adjustment over 20 years? Or do you want the people that are going to be willing to stand up and say, no, no more towers on South Beach. We want our sunshine. We don't want it for billionaire, oligarchs to come once a year. It's destroying our economy. It's raising the cost of housing. My record is totally transparent and clear. I'm the most qualified. I was the first one to sign up for this race. I welcome the other 6 folks, and we'll duke it out. Hopefully, the 2 good folks will get in the runoff, but we can't have candidates who are afraid to speak up. And I have the track record behind me to prove that I will protect the city from those who are trying to destroy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Our closing statements from Group 1 Commission candidate Monique Pardo-Pope.
Thank you so very much. Truly, a sincere thank you to Anna Marie and the entire MBNA family. East MidBeach is more than a collection of condos and hotels. It is a community where families live, where seniors need stability, and where our streets, our parks, and our beaches define the quality of life that we all share. As your commissioner, I will make sure development projects benefit the entire community, that improvements are safe and accessible, and that visionary projects enrich our environment and our city's reputation. MidBeach is at a crossroads. We can either continue with politics as usual, where insiders profit while residents pay the price, or we can chart a new course together. I will bring transparency, accountability, and a common sense balance to this commission. I will protect our neighborhoods, ensure fair-mindedness in innovative development, and advocate for smart partnerships and city resources to be used responsibly. I bring a record of working in good faith, listening to all sides, and finding common ground. It's what I do every single day as a family law attorney, as a guardian ad litem in our family court system, as a pro bono service provider to families who need someone to speak up on their behalf, who don't have the voice to do it on their own. That is why I am here. My priority is transparency, accountability, and tonight I humbly ask you for your support so together we can make MidBeach, as well as Miami Beach as a whole, a safer, smarter, and stronger community for everyone. Thank you so very much. Please come out and vote November 4th.
Thank you, Monique. Our final closing statement from Group 1 Commission candidate will be from Matthew Galtinoff. Matthew.
Thank you. So MidBeach deserves a commissioner who delivers real solutions, not more talk. I've proven I can get things done, from improving traffic flow with smarter signals to working alongside city, county, and state officials to push forward changes that make a difference in people's daily lives. But my campaign is more than traffic. It's about building a community where housing is attainable, where businesses can thrive, and where residents feel truly represented, from their neighborhood associations to City Hall. My 3 priorities, traffic, housing solutions, and community, are grounded in years of hands-on work in the community. Miami Beach has the talent, the energy, the resources, and the potential to lead again. With your support, we can move from no, no, no to a city that says yes to progress. I'm Matthew Goltanoff, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. And I must echo and agree with the candidate that mentioned a moment ago what a privilege it is as residents for us to have options of great candidates. And I want to thank all of you for your willingness to serve, your willingness to make the sacrifices that it takes. I've seen or heard some of you have resigned from your positions, have gone out and knocked on thousands of doors, have raised funds. Everyone knows it's not easy to go and to make that kind of a commitment and a choice without any security that you'll be the next commissioner. And so congratulations to all of you. Just truly wish each and every one of you the best in this race forward. We're receiving several comments in the chat, and we're receiving several comments in MBNA's executive board and emails that are coming in. And so I'm going to pull a couple of them and just ask each of you. I know you all haven't received these, but they're based on the comments that you all have made. And so one of them is several of you raised concerns regarding cleaning and sanitation. MBNA's cleaning and sanitation position is that currently daily and periodic cleaning practices fall short of the standard expected for this city. We would like to understand your assessment of the situation and hear your specific, and please again, I emphasize specific, plan for addressing these deficiencies. Is there anyone that would like to go first in addressing this question?
Happy to go first.
Candidate Seraldo?
Yeah, so as far as cleanliness, one thing, I'm an early riser, and in the morning when I'm going around like 6, 7 a.m. here in South Beach, it's so disgusting to see all the filth, all the garbage, all the folks passed out from the all-night party the night before, drug addicts on the side of
And
the
what would be
park.
your specific plan for addressing it?
Well, I was getting there. Thank you, Anna Marie. So, what I would like to do is let's move the plan. The city currently goes around 7 or 8 o'clock. Let's move the cleanup a little bit earlier. Some residents wake up before 11 a.m. I think a lot of them are on this call. Let us make the city as beautiful as we all believe it is. Let's have that sense of pride. Let's support people like Sophie Ringel, but also put the millions we need to improve and enhance sanitation so that when our residents wake up to go to work, they're not driving by literally feces on the street as we see so often. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the specific plan would be potentially readjusting the timelines of when sanitation's out there and making it a schedule that allows us to enjoy the mornings in the community, so it would be earlier. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Thanks.
Thank you. So, and for those of us that live in MidBeach, that are in condominiums or in hotel condos along the shores, or have guests in these hotels and have to protect the experience of these guests, it's incredible how even on the 20th, 30th, 40th floors, depending on which building you live in, how you can hear very clearly a sanitation vehicle on the beach walk or in the beaches, or any kind of crew out there early morning. Even dogs barking at 6 in the morning can be heard loud and clear, even with hurricane-proof windows and balconies and so forth. So it is something for us to be considerate of when we look at timing and noise. The late Commissioner Samulin had a noise ordinance that was very important to MidBeach because our condo canyon creates a certain tunnel, and the noise factor here is a little bit different than it is in the rest of Miami Beach. The same is true for construction. When we have our construction partners, or FPL or electric power, coming into MidBeach and working in early hours or late evening, the echoes and the way the sound carries is very disruptive to individuals' sleep. And for those that may be more sensitive, or older adults who are not sleeping well through early hours in the night, it's difficult for them. So as we think of some of those solutions, please consider some of the specific context that we live here in MidBeach. Anyone else would like to answer this with a specific plan? Something they'd like to do? Okay, we're going to go to candidate Monica Mateo Salinas, followed by candidate Matthew Galtinoff.
So I'm going to suggest two things real quick. And the first one is hire more sanitation workers. And the way we go there without bloating our budget is to ask for a cleanliness fee for all the events that we have. And that cleanliness fee goes right to our sanitation budget. So that way we can hire more sanitation workers. And in terms of oversight, as a commissioner, I would put an agenda item to every neighborhood committee meeting to get a report. What's our hiring like? Where are our sanitation teams located at? What's the schedule? How often are they cleaning? And get that every single month at the neighborhoods meeting. So two-pronged approach there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. So one thing to note also, MidBeach, just the area from 24th to 63rd, contributes to 1/3 of all taxes from the hotels that we receive in the city. So this area pays an enormous amount of taxes, and we have not seen those allocated in the budget going back into our community. And when MidBeach was established, that was one, in part, why it was established, was because much of the money that we're putting into the city's budget, we are not seeing that reinvested. So it's interesting that you bring that up and how you would be able to tax that through the events. It's another thing. Sometimes these events, we see that the city is charging a community fee. We have individuals come to us. MBNA has never received a penny from any event, from any developer, from any hotel, from any project that we've ever advocated for. And I have been very clear and transparent with that, and our finances are open to everyone. We even stopped charging hotels basically since COVID, when they went through a difficulty, and just recently started our membership back up. We were run on a very limited budget because we are pure volunteers, but the amount of money that comes back into MidBeach itself, we've seen some organizations and some nonprofits receive money. We have not seen that money in relation to the projects when we do the elephant display for Art Basel, or weddings, or large events, Formula One, et cetera, that are staged here in MidBeach. That money is not coming back into MidBeach to take care of. Someone mentioned the beach in front of hotels, or we don't have the funding is not coming back to be able to take care of that to the extent that I think the community is expecting it. So we support these events because we want to see this prosperous. We want to support our hotels. We've been in collaboration. We've been working very hard for 7 years to have continuous conversations with them. I recently met with the president of the Hotel Association. It's very important to our condominiums to have that relationship, and we've been working on that. But how can we support is seeing some of that funding from those community events going back, not to us, not to an organization, but back into the areas that are being most impacted.
I just want to say I'd be happy to champion that and figure out where that money is going.
Thank you. Candidate Matthew Galtinoff.
Yeah, so I'm going to offer a slightly different perspective. We live in a great community. There's great outdoor spaces, and I frequently run of groups early in the morning. One group, we start at 5th Street and we run up to 44th Street along the beach walk early in the morning. We leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to say, not only is the beach walk clean, is Collins Avenue clean, I don't think I've ever seen a city that's more clean than Miami Beach. It is such a clean city. So much money is invested in public works and sanitation. My plan would be, do what we do today. Our residents, our businesses, they're taxed enough already. We don't need to spend more money. We need to be smart and prudent and call a spade for a spade. Our city's clean. Our entertainment district is clean. And I would continue the way in which we're going, because we're so lucky to live in such a vibrant and safe and clean city. Thank you.
We welcome you, candidate, to visit Indian Creek with us. We welcome you to visit the properties that have been sitting there and that are vacant and that have tons of trash. We have individuals that are on this forum today that are in the participants that live in Flamingo Park, and they could probably share with you some of their concerns on the other side of the bridge from their neighborhood. Indian Creek, the walkway that Monica Mateo Salinas mentioned earlier, we can't get through there without without bags of trashes. I walk my youngest child to school 3 times a week, and along Collins Avenue from 47th to 41st, there is an enormous amount of trash. And so I think it just kind of depends. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe we've done something and the beach walk feels clean because you're seeing that. I guess we as residents that are walking in between the roads, or just in 41st is really dirty. It's gross. So, we welcome you to the west side of the east side of MidBeach.
And I'm happy to walk with you, to meet with your executive board, to talk about this. And by the way, if these private property owners are not maintaining their property, they need to be held accountable. If these are land bankers that are looking for upzonings, they need to be held accountable. This isn't something that the taxpayer has to do for them.
Well, when your fees don't make sense because you're preempted by the state, it doesn't make sense to them. And we've been battling this and trying to figure out what incentive can you do at a city level to convince these individuals that are holding on to these properties and really allowing for this environment that is unpleasant in our community to exist, to just sit there and not do anything with them, or anything that is of contributing positively to our community.
I'd like to answer next time, Maria, if that's possible.
Sure. I'll go to you right after candidate Ava Frankel, who has her hand up. Thank you, Omar.
Oh, sure.
Candidate.
Thank you. So on the topic of cleanliness and beautification, I also frequently walk the boardwalk. And something that I notice are kind of the older buildings that are going through their recertification and they're having a lot of assessments. Those owners, they can't really afford significant beautification. And there are also a ton of developers that are coming to Miami Beach, building these amazing, beautiful buildings. They're getting height increases, which is basically just money handed to them on a silver platter. And it's not just a little bit of money, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. And I would love to see these developers not just adding like a footbridge or a garage or this or that. I would love to see them helping their neighbors that are in the more decrepit buildings or the ones that are going through the recertification and helping them fund their improvements and making the whole entire Miami Beach more beautiful, not just adding one beautiful building and a little park as like a consolation gift for their hundreds of millions of dollars that Miami Beach just gave them.
Thank you so much, Ava. Ava, can you remind us which building in MidBeach has received a variance for higher height?
Well, I'm kind of thinking more of just Miami Beach in general, but there are a bunch of buildings that are going up in MidBeach. And also, I know I've heard that developers are planning to do more and are seeking height increases in the future. So I think it's more so future buildings. I would love to see that implemented.
MBNA has not supported the buildings receiving additional height to this point. So I just want to make sure, and I've heard that a couple of times today. So I want to understand where that comment's coming from. Again, this forum and this organization represents 24th to 63rd, and it is very unique. It is one of the few corridors that are multifamily. We have specific needs that have not been met for many years, but increased height is not necessarily something that I personally have seen or supported in my role at MBNA. And so if you all are aware, I also feel like we're not aware of everything that goes on. So if you all are aware of something, please feel free to bring it to us. Thank you, candidate Ava Frankel. Candidate Omar Jimenez.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. As we head into a tougher economic climate over the next couple of years, I think impact fees are really important for all parts of our city, because through all of these incredible developments that our city has seen over the last 30 years, if we would have increased our impact fees, we would now have more funds available for sanitation, for infrastructural upgrades, and we would not be leaving the Miami taxpayer holding the bag each time. When it comes to working with local organizations like Clean Miami Beach, we could focus on sanitation efforts by projects that Clean Miami Beach already have ongoing, and working together with the Parks Department, working together, closer together with the Sanitation Department. Just like I have done through my neighborhood, Sustainable Neighborhood Association in North Beach, we've already held over 100 cleanups over the last 5 years, and we've picked up over 12,000 pounds of trash from our community. So every single day, when our tides come in and out, that trash keeps coming back. And when visitors come to our city, perhaps they don't have as much respect sometimes as they should. And that's why we need to have increased recycling trash cans at the beach as well as regular trash cans. So this is a very wide ranging topic that I think I have plenty of experience with to help North Beach or MidBeach residents with in the future when I get elected.
Thank you so much, candidate Omar. So I want to make sure I'm fully understanding. So you're saying we need more services, we need more trash cans, we need more things in MidBeach. And the way to do that is to increase the impact fees on some of these projects that are coming in. So what are our current impact fees structure, and how would that change under your leadership?
That's a tough question, because I don't think our own commissioners would know our impact fee structure. And I'm not a commissioner yet, so I can't answer that question. But what I do know is that impact fees haven't been increased in the past 30 years. And there's a reason for that, because our city is made up principally of lobbyists and special interests that don't have the community's best interests at heart. They have profit at heart. And so when we look at electing our next candidate in the city of Miami Beach, we want to elect someone that's going to work with the community and for the community to get us those tax dollars that we really need. Because if not, sanitation, infrastructural upgrades, sewer and stormwater, all of those fees are going to come out of our utility billing through water and sewer utility, tax increases, as we've seen already last year, our utility bill went up by 9%.
Right.
So by 2030, our utility bill is going to go up by 30%. And if you look at condominium buildings that are already under pressure because of, HOA assessments and stuff like that, there is no room to keep increasing our fees and to keep increasing the fees that these condo owners have to pay every single month. So that's why we need to look at new developments. Miami Beach has always been a developer and development city. It's always been a big money city, and we need to get the money from those developments that are being built in our city over the next 5 to 10 years, not from the taxpayers' pockets.
Okay, and again, just mixing, so there's private property, you own condominiums. Condominiums are managed by their own property. And then there's this other thing where the local authorities, as commissioners, would have the opportunity to changing an impact fee structure that already is variant depending on the different developments. So thank you, Omar, for sharing that. We're going to go to Daniel Seraldo and candidate Brian Ehrlich, and then we will begin to close this and move to our mayoral candidate forum. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. I just wanted to touch back on, I do think it's important for us to know like what the different neighborhood groups, what positions they take. For example, Anna Marie, with MDPL, we were so upset about the coral reef and the patrician, the state of those historic landmark buildings, the trash, we have Sophie on here, the major trash that's been just sitting in those properties. And then I saw that your organization supported a warrant that basically allowed those landmarks redevelopment to happen. We've got the Amman that's, I think, illegally using the parking spaces in our public parking lots right to the north and the south. So I think we all just need better transparency, and we need to work together because going up against big developers is not easy. And we need people who have that capability, who know what the issues are, who know how it's impacting our neighborhoods. It's not just about height zoning, but it's about when you're rewarding bad actors. I also saw the Versailles. Now they want more FAR. I mean, for whatever piece of wall that they're saving. These are really monumental precedents being set. And I would urge this group and all neighborhood groups to really think slowly about getting in with these developers who, I don't agree at all with Omar that we need so much new development to keep our streets clean. I think that is what got us into this mess now, where we somehow depend on new development when we have almost $1 billion budget. I want us to be a little more smart in managing our finances, not hoping the next billionaire oligarch will come to destroy another neighborhood, but hoping that with our $1 billion budget, we can make a big difference. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, candidate Seraldo. Just because of time, I'm going to go ahead and address the comments. So MBNA did reach out to the organization that you were previously with to speak about the project that you just mentioned, and we didn't receive a response, but there was someone who's associated with it that lives in South Beach that was so kind to meet and help us better understand how, and because we were seeing messaging that said that they were historic landmarks and historic landmarks and contributing historically, and what elements could be saved, et cetera, were certainly taken into account. And there's always a group, right? And in MBNA, like every organization, it's not one person or one person's position, but rather a group and a consensus that was built on what is best for the community in general and for that site specifically, and how do we maintain our culture and how do we maintain our height and our and the type of branding that we're looking to gain here in or maintain and gain here in MidBeach. But of course, we certainly agree that communication and transparent communication are not assumptions that people are in with certain people or receiving certain benefits, and not trying to understand the situation and making the best position that they can make for their community. Candidate Brian Ehrlich.
Just on the, because we were talking about, I think really accountability when you get back to the cleanliness, to maintenance, to sanitation. I think there's a management problem. There's a management problem at City Hall where we need to have strong metrics for every department, for every person in those departments, And we need to employ the best practices of the private sector to hold these people's feet to the fire. I think that this is emblematic of a larger problem that's happening at the city. If you talk to anyone, when I go and knock on doors, you talk to people who have had to deal with permitting at the city, it's the same story. There's multiple permit reviewers. There's a diffusion of responsibility. So in my view, we need performance-based metrics for every department, including sanitation, every task.
And that does not exist right now, Brian?
Not to my knowledge. When I have asked for backup documentation on that, I do not see what I see in the private sector. So what I would do and implement is say, okay, here's your department.
But you're not going to be the city manager. You're going to be an elected official.
You're certainly not. You're right. You're right. It is a city manager form of government, but I think it is incumbent upon the city commissioners to hold the city manager
absolutely
to the fire to make sure that he's got for every department a list of 100 to 200 tasks that are inside of that department. Then next to each task, for example, pressure wash, pavers, it will say Alberto checking on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It will then say the reviewer of Alberto is Brian. And then the oversight to check to make sure both of those people did the work is Anna Marie. This is how things are done everywhere. This is not how it's done in the city of Miami Beach. And I'm sorry.
I'm not going to be available to clean the pavers, but certainly I appreciate.
I'm asking you with that. I'm asking you with that. It's not this. Obviously, it's not the city commission. It's not going to be any one of us that's directing that. I agree with you. But certainly, we've got to set the rules of engagement for the city manager.
I want to thank everyone again.
And Marie, I just want 1 minute. I want 1 minute to respond because all the other candidates got to speak. I just need 10 seconds, please. I've heard candidates discuss raising taxes. When we have an affordability crisis and affordability is at an all-time low, the answer is never to raise taxes with a cleanliness fee for either residents or businesses, particularly when MidBeach is already paying exorbitant amount of money by way of taxes. To me, that doesn't make any sense. But let's focus really on what the issue with cleanliness, what the root of the matter is, at least in my perspective. We haven't talked about homelessness issue. We haven't discussed what's driving the issue of cleanliness, particularly on 41st Street. We have public order laws that have to be enforced consistently. We have to deal with our homelessness issue in MidBeach. Once we do that, once we enforce our city code to make sure that public camping is not taking place on public property, on our beach walks, on 41st, on Indian Creek, we embolden our Miami Beach PD to do their job. We effectuate change, thereby making the streets cleaner and also safer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, candidate Monique Pardo Pope. That was a great way to end it. I really appreciate everyone's energy and focus. Just want to put a plug in. MBNA's Homelessness Working Group meets the fourth Wednesday of every month at 4 p.m. They just got started over the summer, but they are off to a rocking start. It's led by Patricia Agnello. I saw that Oscar Vasquez, our Beach and Water Quality Chair, also plugged in their working group. They meet on the third Wednesday of every month at 4 p.m. MBNA loves Wednesdays. It works for us. Hopefully it works for you too. Thank you to every candidate that has put their name and their hat in the ring. We really appreciate you for coming out today. Stay, because we're now going to begin the Mayoral Candidate Forum. Welcome to the Mayoral Candidate Forum, hosted by the MidBeach Neighborhood Association. I'm Ana Marie Ferreira de Mello, president of the MBNA. The organization was established in 2017 to advocate for the unique needs of our community. And while some say a mayor is just one more vote on the commission dais, we clearly see the mayor as setting the tone for the city of Miami Beach as on an international stage. Tonight's discussion is focused on the issues most relevant to East MidBeach, from 24th Street to 63rd Street along Collins Avenue and Indian Creek Drive. As a reminder, respectful and constructive dialogue is expected from candidates and attendees. The facilitator, myself, reserves the right to mute you, remove any participant, and we do enforce time limits. So please just help us ensure fairness Each candidate will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves and outline their platform. We will begin with mayoral candidate Stephen Miner, followed by mayoral candidate Kristen Rosen-Gonzalez. Mayoral candidate Stephen Miner, if you would please give us a 3-minute introduction and the platform of what you will do as the mayor of our city for the next 4 years.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anna Marie, Alicia, and the entire MBNA board. Yes, I do agree with what you said, that the mayoral position is a lot more than just one vote. It's not just setting the tone, but it's representing the city, not only at events, but also there's a lot of administrative functions that the mayoral job has, in addition, above and beyond, because I was a commissioner. I want to talk about some of the successes that our administration, our city has had, that I've had, and how that leads into my vision going forward. It's been a little less than 2 years, but we've accomplished a lot. First of all, the police presence in MidBeach is impressive. Everyone who comes into our city sees it. And it's certainly 41st Street, but it's more than just 41st Street. It's Collins Avenue as well, which had been a complaint for a while that you never saw police. And my parents live on Collins in the 50s. And I've been seeing police being very, not only out there, but being proactive, pulling cars over. Just saw it literally a couple times this week. Spring break was a major success for the first time in years. And spring break, while being in South Beach, certainly impacted certainly the corridor from 24th, but even further north than that, impacted our city. That has been cleaned up. I had put on legislation that our commission approved, met with the governor, got resources there. I think our police did a phenomenal job, along with the county police. And by the way, I had also advocated the county was going to cut policing staff as well. And I had to go meet with the sheriff, and she's amazing. And Rosie, Sheriff Rosie, helped us a lot. So law and order certainly is at top of the list. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of infrastructure projects. Certainly the 41st Street water main project that not only got completed, but got completed in a timely manner with minimal disruptions to traffic. Speaking of traffic, while that's a major issue, and it's one that we try to mitigate as much as possible, but our commission and I was certainly brought a number of legislation to increase our policing along the corridor, to add public safety specialists. I've been working for 4 years on a water taxi program that would go not only to the mainland in Miami, but also north and south throughout Miami Beach, which I think could help mitigate some of the traffic that we're facing. Our hotel room rates in Miami Beach from January through June, #1 in the nation. The #1 city. We're the only city over $300 a night at $321. Our RevPAR, our occupancy rates, all at the top of the list. Also, I had introduced legislation while I was mayor to limit the amount of overdevelopment, so to speak, making it more difficult from a 5/7 vote to a 6/7 vote. And we have not seen, we recently approved a project at Deauville and something in South Beach, but we have not approved any major development projects in MidBeach, partly because of the infrastructure issues and the traffic. And I think that's my 3 minutes.
You do have a little more time, but
oh, okay.
Getting to the point. If you
Great. Homeless issues. We are at actually historic lows. There's always improvements to be made, but you go down, up and down. I walk 41st Street a lot. Certainly, as I said, my parents on Collins. It is much rarer to see a homeless individual. They got a lot of good feedback and comments from our residents about that as well. Certainly, I had been one of the sponsors of legislation to use arresting enforcement if someone is camping in the public and refuse shelter. By the way, it was a 4-3 vote, so it wasn't a slam dunk at the time. But we're doing it. We just had a discussion item at our commission meeting today about a task force that we are making sure that we are employing and enforcing our homeless anti-camping laws, in addition to the millions of dollars we spend to help our homeless.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
For that introduction. And now we will hear an introduction from mayoral candidate Kristen Rosen-Gonzalez. You have 3 minutes.
Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope my 3 minutes start now then. All right. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kristen Rosa Gonzalez. I've been first elected on the commission in 2015. I am a mother of three. I raised my kids here in Miami Beach, and I've been a tenured faculty member at the Kendall campus of Miami-Dade College for the past 16 years. I am running for mayor right now because leadership truly does start at the top, and it requires team building and compromise and listening. And these are things and skills that I've built over the last 10 years. And not just focusing our commission on what's important and getting them to work together, but continuing to build on our relationship with the state, which is much better than it's ever been. And also rebuilding our relationship with the county that has not been great. Why is that important? Because we need the state and the county to solve problems on Collins Avenue. For example, traffic is one of our major issues, and I have an item right now to synchronize all of our traffic lights. We need the county to do that, and I'm going to see the county next week. We're currently working on a water taxi. Tomorrow morning, I have a meeting with the Downtown Development Association in downtown Miami so that they can contribute $600,000 to the water taxi that we got from the state and that we got and that we're contributing. So I'm working on traffic. I would like to continue to build on security and safety. We have a homeless population that is entrenched, living amidst the dunes on the beach walk, and we need to solve that problem. Violent crime is actually up in Miami Beach at a time when it has decreased every place else. Right now, I have a simple item. When we have our camping ordinance for the homeless, we offer them a bus ticket, shelter, or a rest. One of the reasons that they're not taking the bus ticket is because they need somebody to receive them on the other end. I have an item coming up. I'm going to remove that so we can offer people a bus ticket out of Miami Beach and possibly $100 for food and travel expenses. And finally, I think one of the most important things I'm going to work on is economic revitalization of our commercial corridors here in Miami Beach. We are $100 million down in economic activity over the last year alone. I am going to work very hard to build a stellar economic development team, work with our administration, work with our different business improvement districts, and get our capital improvements projects completed so that we can shine, we can rebuild on what we've already done, and we can become the best possible Miami Beach. And we can only do that together with the right leadership. Thank you.
Both of you are so well versed on what the issues are. Both of you have been so very much engaged with this organization, meeting after meeting, issue after issue. So for me, it's difficult to facilitate this forum. And so I'm going to ask both of you, with all respect. I want to hear what's different. What's going to be different if you're elected mayor, and how are you different how is your platform, how are you unique? I don't want referring to each other because I would like to refrain from doing that. You each stand on your own merits, but we as voters have a decision to make. And for some folks, it's very easy. They know exactly who they're going to vote for. But for a lot of our membership, both of you have been very engaged here, and it's a little more challenging. Help us see why you are the right mayor for our next term, to represent MidBeach and the city of Miami Beach on a local, regional, national, and international stage. Why are you the right leader? So when we go to our first question, it's going to be very similar to the Group 1 Commission candidate question. What is the most urgent? In the candidates for commission, some of them did not focus on, or maybe they did focus on, and that was from their perspective, the most urgent. It didn't sound as urgent as I had anticipated it be, but from your perspective, as current elected officials and as elected officials who want to continue to serve our community in this capacity, in the greatest capacity, what is the most urgent issue for hotels in MidBeach from 24th to 63rd that collectively contribute 1/3 of all of the hotel taxes in our city? We're going to begin now with mayoral candidate Kristen Rosa Gonzalez, and then mayoral candidate Stephen Minor will go second.
How long do I have for this question, Anne Marie? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
2 minutes.
Pardon?
2 minutes.
Okay. I think the most important issue we're facing right now is filling hotel rooms, and that relates directly to our convention center. We know that when we've made a $700 million capital investment in our convention center, we have more than 25,000 hotel rooms in the city. And when that convention center is empty, and many times when I walk past it, it causes a real problem for our hotels. So I'm going to work very hard with our economic development team and with the convention center to market it better and make sure that it's booked all the time. In the summer months, sometimes we could discount rates, and I don't think we're doing enough to get that done. We also need to work on, fixing Lincoln Road, fixing that capital improvements project, and cutting the and for hotels. I think it's really important, apart from the convention center, to make sure that our beaches are clean. I'm working on water quality testing and also the sargassum seaweed. Nobody wants to come and stay at an oceanfront hotel if they can't swim in the water. So we need to make sure that our water is clean, that the convention center is programmed, and that our hotel rooms are filled. And that's going to take a lot of team building and working together and really just being creative. And I think being creative and innovation is the most important thing that we need right now as an ambassador.
Thank you so much. And we're going to do a follow-up because you're within your time. So Convention Center is, as you know, not in MidBeach, but the new hotel sounds like something that might help with that programming, but it does impact MidBeach, right? But that connection there somewhat lost in what was just discussed. But the water quality and sargassum are items that we have been very much concerned and that impact hotels and hotel nights in the amount of individuals staying there, in being creative in how you work with the economic development. We're going to want to hear more about that in a little bit. Just hold on to those thoughts, and then when we get through the next question, we'll come back to them. Mayoral candidate Stephen Minor, what do you see as the most urgent issue for hotels?
Yeah, several things
specific to MidBeach.
Sure. Thanks, Anna Marie. And as the current mayor, one of the things I do every quarter is I meet with a group of hoteliers. We have, 7,500 hoteliers on the line, so something in that line. And what's interesting is hearing their concerns. It's often the same things you'd hear from residents. It's about law and order, homelessness. And we're definitely changing the narrative in that. I hear it from people all the time. I hear from people from LA and actually internationally that Miami Beach is the place to be, not only for residents, but for an economic driver. We're changing the narrative here, and spring break was a big part of that, but just the day-to-day, the police presence, and also our major crimes are down 16.3%. So that narrative is definitely out there. So there's other aspects to it. For example, you mentioned the Convention Center Hotel. That's going to have an impact throughout our city. It's 800 hotel rooms, but I'm already hearing anecdotally that there's a vibrant interest. Also, one of the things our city is doing is we're trying to create more residential units when new projects come up. We're incentivizing that, which I think is going to be good for the existing hotels to keep it's somewhat static, the supply that we have. We're doing a good job of filling our positions. We actually have 21 departments. They're all filled. This is the first time in many years that has actually been the case, including our economic development department, which had been vacant for years. And Steve Anthony has come on board. Great addition to our city. And if you haven't met him, please do. Our resort taxes are up several years in a row. We did have a big bump several years ago after COVID, but certainly several years in a row. And actually this June, it was year over year, we were up 3.3%. You mentioned sargassum, which is certainly a major issue, and one I give your MBNA a lot of credit for, that you've taken the lead on year after year. I know my office and Blake Govan, my deputy chief of staff in particular, has literally been working the county because they are the ones responsible ultimately for cleaning it up. But we have been in touch with them regularly, as we are with FDOT, on their projects to make sure that they are timely and also keep our lanes clear as they should be.
Thank you, mayoral candidate Stephen Minor. the time is up at the 2 minutes. I did want to make a quick comment that maybe we can come back to later after our questions, but you mentioned all the staff positions are filled. I'd like to, as a resident and as an organization, for us to know, how does that impact? I mean, what are we seeing as a benefit from having that right now, and how is that impacting hotels specifically? Sargasm is an issue that whoever's the next mayor really needs to take more of a leadership role in it, in the sense of not just supporting from staff, but the city needs to own it. The city is not, we're not owning it. We're not owning it at all levels. There's folks that are still within the city that say it's nature. It's not really our issue. It's the county, it's the state, it's regulations. We can't do more, we can't do less. We understand that it's part of nature and part of what comes to our shore. But if we don't think creatively and we don't figure that out, it's going to be really hard to address. This weekend, imagine every voice went silent because it was gorgeous. But 2 weeks ago, for a month, we were hounded with messages, videos, and comments of the inactivity with regards to it. So it's just one of those things. It's almost like, I don't know, people forget they were pregnant, people forget they have sargassum, but then it comes back and all of a sudden they're complaining again. So we'll see how that can be addressed in the next term. We're not going to discuss it further today. For our second question for today, and this will go then into our closing comments, what do you see as the most pressing issue facing residents in the city, specifically to MidBeach? Please keep your comments or responses to MidBeach. And how would you address it as mayor? We're going to begin with mayoral candidate Stephen Miner, followed by mayoral candidate Kristen Rosen-Gonzalez.
Well, with regard to residents, it's always going to be quality of life, and obviously there's an overlap. And on those fronts,
specifically, what would you say is that one issue?
Well, number one is always going to be law and order. It's always going to be. That is the number one issue. People want to feel safe when they leave their house. They want to feel safe when they're in their home. And so it's not just being safe, because there's a perception that you not only have to be safe, because we are a safe city, but it's also feeling safe. And our police have done a good job. For example, there are pockets where we have a string of auto thefts, but our police have done a good job, whether it be in different areas, to curtail that, to do a sting operation, undercover operations. And I personally saw it, where police cars were riding through residential neighborhoods to make sure that people were safe. But there's so much more to it. It's cleaner streets. And we talked briefly about capital projects, Lincoln Road outside of the MidBeach, but that's a major project that's now underway. 41st Street is going to get a major facelift to the tune of close to $20 million starting next year. That is going to have a positive impact. But our streets are, and it's not just me, it's obviously our commission. Our commission is dedicated to quality of life issues, and that's what our meetings are about. If you watch it, there's very little development items on. It's all about the quality of life for our residents, and that's why we've put in the resources, and our budget reflects it. It's not just policing. By the way, we're almost fully staffed on our police staff, which is also one of
You have gone on mute.
sitting here, but we've put in the resources, and our budget reflects it, not just on public safety, but on cleanliness and resiliency.
Thank you so much. Mayoral candidate Kristen Rosen-Gonzalez.
Okay. It is so hard to pick one issue, but I would have to say that for MidBeach, your one issue that really impacts you more than any other has to be traffic, because you are stuck in your condos and you can't get out. And then you get to 41st Street and you're backed up there. And it's very difficult, and we have to be incredibly innovative in how we approach these solutions. I had a follow-up meeting with our transportation department about simple ways of fixing the traffic. Well, a few things. Let me start over. First and foremost, we need to work with the state, like we did at the meeting the other day, to make sure that we are on top of this project so that both of the turn lanes are going to be open onto 41st Street. I had a follow-up meeting with our Department of Transportation, and we are actually going out to the county to speak to the head of transportation there, because we know that rerouting some of the bus stops are really key, because the trolleys stop and they block traffic. So we are going to do whatever we can to try to move the bus stop that is impeding everything right before you get to 41st Street out of the way. As I told you before, I have an initiative and I'm going out to meet with the Director of Transportation at the county also about the synchronization of our traffic lights, because right now we are using really old technology. So I would like to convince the county to allow us to take over the synchronization of our traffic lights so that we can literally plug them into AI and have smart technology do this. This will be a real game changer. In addition, we need to approach innovative solutions like this water taxi that both Mayor Miner and I have sponsored, and I'm trying to get the funding, build a prototype, and I see a future where in MidBeach, you will get on an electric water taxi and you will take it to go down to Lincoln Road, where you are going to want to go and have dinner because you're going to love the restaurants and love the retail that's there. And we really have to be creative about how we address this. 2 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. And we are going into our final closing statements for each of our candidates. Again, both of you have served our community tirelessly, and we thank you for that. We thank you for your willingness to continue to serve, to go through this process of campaigning and wanting to be our next mayor. Make it easy for us. Let us know in one minute, what are your final thoughts? What should we walk away from today and say, this is how mayoral candidate Stephen Miner or mayoral candidate Kristen Rosen-Gonzalez is different, and how and why they are going to best represent me as someone who wants to live here in MidBeach. This will begin with mayoral candidate Kristen Rosen-Gonzalez, and it will conclude with mayoral candidate Stephen Miner.
Miami Beach, I love you. I have fought for you and stood up on referenda and batted off large projects for many years that would have made the traffic way worse than it is now. These were courageous moves to save things, simple things like surface parking lots, where I know you love to pull up and go into the Apple store. And over my tenure as a politician, I have learned and become wiser. I've learned to listen to my colleagues, compromise, get along with others, work with our county, work with our state. There is nobody who can build the relationships and have the vision that I have to move Miami Beach forward in a positive way on the international stage with our local relationships, and most importantly, at home with our fellow commissioners. I know that I can build a team that is going to focus on the right things together, and that is the economic revitalization of Miami Beach and move forward into a tremendous prosperity. And I feel confident that I am the person to lead the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The closing statement from mayoral candidate Stephen Miner.
Yeah, thank you. One is obviously listening to our residents, being responsive, but also building relationships. For example, I mentioned about the state troopers, 46 state troopers that we got when I reached out to the governor for help during spring break. That had never been done before. We didn't proactively have that resources. The same with the county and dealing with the sheriff. And I had met with the mayor of Miami-Dade County as well. Dealing with FDOT, for example, that 2 turning lanes, that was an initiative that I brought from Indian Creek to 41st. And actually, they're going to start working on that to make that a reality. And as I mentioned, the water taxi. But it's working with, and I work with our police chief. I speak with him literally multiple times a day, our city manager, our neighborhood associations, and coordinating with them. It's very much a big part of it is about the relationships that we build. And I'm appreciative. People have told me I'm a stabilizing force, a good ear, a good representative of the city. There's a lot more to do. It's been a little less than 2 years. We've accomplished a lot, and I know that together we're going to accomplish a lot more.
Thank you. As a reminder, the qualifying period ends this Friday, and so some candidates that you've heard from today may still join the race, and we encourage you to remain informed and, most importantly, to vote on or before the November election date, and follow MBNA on social media. And we want to thank everybody for being here, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.